Hi everybody, it's Laura from Green Tree, and today we're talking about the Dirty Dozen. If you're not familiar with the Dirty Dozen, this is a list that's put out every year by EWG, or the Environmental Working Group, where they go and they test produce, conventional produce, and find which fruits and vegetables have the highest levels of pesticides and which ones have the lowest. The lowest list is called the Clean 15. But today we're just going to talk about the Dirty Dozen because I don't want to keep you here all afternoon. In addition to monitoring the pesticide levels on conventional produce, the EWG, the Environmental Working Group, also maintains a database called the Skin Deep Database, which is really cool. If you've never checked it out, go and Google Skin Deep Database, and they cover all of the ingredients in natural body care and cosmetics products. And so you can go and type in a brand or a company, and it will rank it on a numerical scale and tell you which ingredients, if any, in those products are problematic or have any kind of health effects on people. So you can get all sorts of interesting information about the additives in consumer products from EWG. But today we're just going to go over the Dirty Dozen. So I'm going to start with number 1, the most pesticide-laden item of fruits and vegetables. And they typically are recommending that the items on this list, you choose to purchase them organic if you want to avoid the high levels of pesticides. So this is number 1, strawberries. I'm sorry I've got a bag of them here for you instead of fresh ones, but we ran a special on them and I sold the last package of strawberries right before I started the video. So strawberries are the number 1 most pesticide covered item on the Dirty Dozen. And they're also testing for pesticides that are going to be inside the fruit. Doesn't matter if you wash them or peel them, they're still there. So when you take those criteria into account, strawberries are at the top. Number 2 on the list, and this is a little bit of a surprise to me, but it actually makes sense when you think about it, is spinach. Spinach is really high on the list because it's a very delicate, permeable little green that you can't wash in a heavy way, and things just get deposited right onto the leaves, picked up in the roots, and that's what makes spinach number 2 on the Dirty Dozen list. Number 3 is nectarines, and stone fruit is out of season, so I don't have any to show you, but imagine I'm holding a nectarine. That's another one where you're typically leaving the skin on. It's a very soft, delicate fruit, and so that's why nectarines are number 3. Number 4, apples. Apples are actually a fruit that gets a lot of heavy pesticide applications, and most of the time you're again eating the skin. But even if you're not, you're washing and peeling, there's still a really high level of pesticides in apples. So apples are number 4. Number 5 is grapes. Grapes, I don't know if you've ever tried to peel a grape. It's not really possible. It's crazy time consuming, and the finished thing that you end up with is like slippery and weird. So grapes are one where it's not only on the skin that's super difficult to remove, it's inside the grapes. So there you go. Grapes are also a member of the Dirty Dozen. Number 6 is peaches. Peaches, like nectarines, have a very soft, delicate skin, very soft flesh, and the pesticides are getting right up inside there. So peaches are number 6. Number 7 is cherries. Cherries are a big Michigan crop, and I know, we love to support local, but you want to check out when you're getting Michigan cherries. Try to find out a little bit about the farm that they're coming from, because like apples, there's something that's really delicious, very accessible to things like birds and insects. They want to eat them, and so these trees get sprayed with a ton of pesticides. So when you're looking for your cherries, look for it to say organic, or try to find out about the farm. The information of origin does have to be listed on the package, so if you're willing to put in a little time, you can usually track down the answers to whether or not those cherries have been sprayed. Number 8 is the often, I think, underrated but very delicious pear. Pears are a fruit where soft, tender flesh, permeable skin, similar to apples and cherries, very prone to predation from different kinds of animals and insects, and so they get sprayed a lot. Number 9 is the tomato. Doesn't really matter whether we're talking about cherry tomatoes, slicing tomatoes, big yellow tomatoes, little tiny pink tomatoes. You want to check it out. If they're not organic, find out where they came from. They're covered in pesticides. Then, and this one also surprised me, even more than spinach, number 10 is celery. Celery is also a member of the Dirty Dozen. I'm guessing that this is because this is a plant that grows, right down in the ground. And again, you're not going to peel your celery. I can't even imagine how that you would go about that. So celery is number 10 on the Dirty Dozen. Number 11, even though you can peel them, they're very permeable because they're growing right underground. Potatoes. Potatoes are number 11 on the Dirty Dozen. They're right in the soil, so anything that leaches into the soil is going to get picked up into these gorgeous, delightful little tubers that I love to eat in all sorts of different ways. So potatoes are another one that you want to buy organic. Number 12 on the Dirty Dozen, last and almost final entry, there's a reason for that, is the bell pepper. Bell peppers are, I think you're seeing a trend here, a delicate fruit. I mean, they're technically a fruit with a skin that you don't typically remove. And so, yeah, full of pesticides. This is another crop like tomatoes, like the pears that I mentioned. Insects really like them, and because they're down close to the ground, you've got to keep away other larger types of pests, so little crawly things, so they get sprayed with a lot of pesticides. So that's the Dirty Dozen, but EWG usually adds a sort of dishonorable mention at the end of the list, which is the next highest. Doesn't quite make that 12, but it's really, really close and on edge. And I think you won't be surprised by this one, given number 12. Number plus is the hot pepper, any kind of hot pepper. This one happens to be a jalapeno, but it doesn't really matter. They have all of the same pitfalls as the larger bell peppers. They're not as heavily cultivated, so you're more likely to be able to find them from smaller places where they're not going to have those loads of pesticides, but conventionally produced, it's still a pretty high level of spray. So there you go. That's the Dirty Dozen plus one. If you're interested in the Clean 15, which are the items that typically don't have a lot of pesticides, go ahead and just Google either the Clean 15 or go to the Environmental Working Group website. You can check out that list, the Skin Deep database that has all of that great cosmetics and body care information that I mentioned, and you'll really have a new insight into what is going on and into your food. I hope you guys found this useful and that you're having a beautiful, well, I guess kind of gray Tuesday. I will see you next week. Oh, I'm actually gone next week, but I'll see you the week after. Have a good one. Bye.